Today, the 24th day of December 2020. We want to call table the 2019 Auditor General's report. Because I just know I make people and take them for beat me. Yeah. I get a lot of people who don't contact say, hey, Tripoli, when they talk about the Auditor General report, you remember how I be asked for Thomas the day? When? How? Where? Why? How they can how? If one thing you talk, you know, relates to the one that I was say, no call. Because it's not about we and the one and they. Eh? Not so about we. Hey, the one and the thief part. No, not to the one can part. Oh, they don't thief, no. Why? Eh? When? Where? How? If for based on the why we do call. Why you feel say person forget mine for do what you do so. Because it's not just about because waiting day now on Facebook now they were against we. You have people out there trying to discredit the audit report, trying to discredit the auditors general. This is not the same auditor general way then they run with in report to say they one then they. Say they want the previous administration now so and so then do check the auditor general report. Now we can't do this. Then say the auditor general they lie. Then say now for sabotage government. Then why politics? Why? Eh? I hope so you get time. Oh. Eh? Go grab the popcorn because we there first today. You go for Kanye. Okay. Now continue. With the status update for COVID-19, that's alone. The labs them be able for analyze 606 tests. 606 tests that in the labs they analyze. Out of that one day, from 7 turn out for be positive. 7. From Western area urban, na 6. Diaspora, bakung, 1. So now inbound passengers they don't get 49 cumulative numbers. 49. Now we don't get it. Let me continue no more. Because of the 7 new cases that we'll get today, the cumulative confirmed positive case, the number that reached now 2,531 for the past 24 hours. Nobody not lost in life to COVID-19, so still stand at 76. The one that was in isolation center, now 589. For the past 24 hours, nobody not recover from COVID-19, so we still stand at 1,866. The one that were in quarantine na 237. The one that were discharged from quarantine na 12,353. Let's check Mano River Union countries them. For today, Sierra Leone 7, like I just tell we. Guinea 32. Liberia 0. I they tell we Liberia in 0 is so constant. Eh? I don't know who get for send nobody for me. They go check. Let them give you waiting na the number of tests that then they analyze per day. Because then 0 or waiting and they do no understand. Ivory Coast 42. And then they if I give them. So today the total number na 81 new cases them for the Mano River Union countries them. The cumulative death, we still stand the same. Salon 76, Guinea 80, Liberia 83, Ivory Coast 133. With a total number of 372 people now we don't lost to COVID-19 and the Mano River Union countries. We topic for today now the 2019 Auditor General's in report. when the Auditor General in report come on, the people in way they support the previous administration, they all then begin on with some better one. Say this administration can say they come for change, they come for new direction, but see waiting they happen. Then the one them where they support this administration, at first they begin visit the 2015, 2016, 2017, and 18 where the Auditor General brought forward. He put them inside. They say that continuous auditing then they do. They put them inside this report, the 2019 report. So, when they support this administration, begin say, una go back first, but go back, look EBK college and all this and what's not. But it look like say that one they not begin all water small. So now they begin attack now, the Auditor General of himself, then begin for attack the report of itself. There are certain things them where the Auditor General in report be outlined. We cannot say the ACC where they now they try for go after the thing that will be they make headline na social media. NACOVAC na special audit according to the Auditor General Lara Taylor-Pearce. So, myself be asked question some people be asked question. But NACOVAC na special audit. Na then do on a NACOVAC. Remember, say people be they try for ask NACOVAC question. NACOVAC no be the agree for answer. So, however, Auditor General get the power. So then spring into action inside NACOVAC and things then begin to unfold. One of the things then we unfold, we go can listen to the Auditor General himself. One of the things that we unfold, now this 47 laptop. Okay. The Auditor General go explain what may happen to that 47 laptop day. But now me and you know say there is a video with somebody they talk in the video. Look at look the 47 laptop. Now the laptop then this would they can go ACC. Leone self say what then say 47 laptop no day. Alright. And can go ACC. It was live. Who self stuff now ya? Busybody Paris. Who self will be the stream. Be there live. Towards the end, you will find out say that video they end up abruptly because a lady, I don't know her name, now ACC become out. You can say, why not they stream for? This the investigation, This and blah 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 blah. Then now the live go off. Okay. We can not say now where ACC pull and press release. Then say yes, then can go 47 laptop. But that procurement form, what they say them buy, we then tally and with that laptop they wouldn't care go. It's not correct. Not to the same, they no match. I don't know if na Kinjimi, then go outside and can they put boku laptop. If na they then go get the laptop or they ask themselves for Olo laptop they for counter. Because first of all, 47 brand new laptop. We wanna say una spend almost $47,000 for. The laptop then first na mix maybe na mix and match them be the do them be go buy. Because I don't know if you see the video, you see the pictures. Sometimes I mix and match them be the do them go buy. Okay. So because of that, the one them where they support this present administration begin say na lazy auditors them. Then go talk say laptop no dey, not to the laptop then come out so. Then begin use that against the audit report. There is another generator where they say na Zimi and say the generator missing. Auditor in your work for say if you match something not to the same, not to in they can prove and say na this and that. No, what's in your procurement paper? The procurement paper say 47 laptop of this brand and this whatever. Where it come if you show us something else, that paper, now the procurement paper audits they go after. That paper, if you not match that way you can not to into her. Not to in they go do investigation for you. And that's what anti-corruption in they do. I'm gonna make you understand now small. Okay, let's come now to the generator. Because we see another video where they show say now the generator this, not the generator, now the generator this. Okay, this is what happened. The form we then get for show say China give salon generator na Zimi hospital. Waiting right day. Now in the audit report, now in the auditors them, then they go after. The auditors them, you go say, the paper say A, you say A raised to the power 2, don't you expect the auditor for taker? As far as in concern, not to A raised to the power 2 he go for. Now A, now he go for. So that one day back, be come up say generator missing. Well, anti-corruption one for make me and you know say, yes, we then go Zimi, the generator did it. Before we can listen to the conversation where the Auditor General get na 98.1. I just want for clear the things them way people them na this administration they use now for discredit the Auditor General and also discredit the audit report. Take and say the Auditor General dey against this administration. But when the APC administration be there, where the Auditor General pull report, then first then they can defend self. Then your anti-corruption not be the go self for go after say waiting happen, waiting not happen. At least this one will see the ACC they go say that they go for go clarify things them. So this now waiting happen. Then confirm say indeed the generator na 65 kVA generator and not to 50 kVA. You don't see the problem there. The auditor them will then go, the paper say na 50 kVA generator. So then go look for 50 kVA. We then go, they meet 65 kVA. Not to them they can go say, okay, what's happening? No, to them that paper where they all game don't play. So anti-corruption now go. You go verify, say, now person I be make mistake, now administrative mistake by the number. We then go instead of 50, they meet 65. But then say they still investigate. But people just watch headline for say, oh, the generator they Zimi, then say, see, now lazy people left. The auditor then lazy, then just want to give this administration bad name. If you feel say he do a perfect job during the previous administration, then why you feel say he go do bad job now? Salon. What make we know they do something for the country? Rather, now political party them. Now they try for fet for. Okay. Take paper and pen. Beaucoup dey for talk. Beaucoup dey for listen. Yeah? Let me listen to the conversation where the Auditor General is able for explain small. A quick disclaimer. I think, Naya, this is just AAA. This is just AAA. I think that money, the 98.1 did a poor job on interviewing the Auditor General. what you make I say then do a poor job, you go listen and you go make up your own. But for me, it's like then just run with waiting be then on social media and then not take the time for read the report. When they want question the Auditor General, they're not able to say page 31. And this number 37, this now what he say. Page 203, now what he say now. Even the Auditor General be careful telling say, when I read the report, well, read them from the report from me. But no, it's like them be just they run with waiting within a social media. And then be just they take no more for send at the Auditor General. That's what me been feel. But you know it in? Hey, relax, make we listen how the conversation go.
Well, before we can go into the 2019 report we don't go in our parliament and the most talked about money them way people able for accounts for the year 2019, let me just go back to your workforce because you be done there as Deputy Auditor General at the country from 2007 to 2011 and November 2011 now you take up as Auditor General at the Audit Service Salon. Just take me from there to now, how the work sound like.
Thank you very much. A very interesting journey. Me done day actually in the field of auditing since I began my career in 1991. I began private sector at KPMG. I spent almost 10 years there. Then I go into public sector in 2000. Accountant General's office, some World Bank projects. Then before I can say Audit Service Sierra Leone. And it has been a very interesting journey because me and one person we're very passionate about accountability issues. So I found myself in that field there and I really enjoy what I do. As a deputy, my role really now be on corporate matters, quality assurance, training, corporate for the office. But because of the auditing background, I needed that one day for do the quality assurance. So when I get the appointment in November 2011, I look at as a great opportunity for support Sierra Leone in the area of accountability, transparency, in the use of public funds. So over the years, for the last 9 years, we don't make sure we don't improve in how we do we work. If over the last 9 years, we don't make sure the staff are well capacitated for do their work. In fact, I guess staff the way the go check other supreme audit institution, the quality assurance inside the office. We don't make sure we get the best people that we interested for do the work on board. However, a few challenges that we are noticed, we really need for look at going forward because the audit business now a revolving business. Now one way you need for train you people you need for get the best people on board and that one they mean money. As it is now we dey get money, however within exactly we need for do the work something in that can be a challenge. We don't work now for all people into account because their money they are not to individual people their money them. Their money they are now we already pay tax, we money them. And we get for make sure somebody check that I make you get the independent external audit function when that we do for check the money are they use they out there for use them and we report to Parliament. We also did notice some of the recommendation they will give. It's ganga for me people and implement the recommendation.
Now we look at the Auditor General's work in a salon or the audit service them work. Every year, they pull reports about the accountability aspect in different offices them. And looking at the report the more they pull every year, somebody go like for know what's in the strength of una workforce for put these reports together.
Okay, so at the moment, the total workforce, including the administrative staff, now 186. Out of the 186, about 120, 9 are the technical, the audit staff then. That number they not do. Now that makes so we can get for give some of the audits for make private farm they do on our behalf. The number not do. We need at least 200 people well remunerated, above board, for make we able for do all thing every year. So that's a challenge, but we manage for do what we able for do every year.
So with that challenge day and the small staff them we get for ensure so na manage for do it una suppose for the do every year. Let we come to the reports them. Waiting at the methodology we audit service salon they use for get all the information then we una can need for put together for present to Parliament as the audited reports for the year.
Okay, so make us start from the very beginning. So every year by November we get what we call an operational planning meeting. We get we overall strategic plan. We get various pillars there. We'll get for make sure see we meet them pillars in there. So when we get our operational planning meeting there around November, each division within the organization they come up with all the audits we able for do based on the resources that we available for do. We only sit down a meeting, 2 or 3 days meeting. We agree. Say this year, next year, now this we do, now this we do, now this we do. In public sector auditing, waiting we look for. We look for make sure say internal control them that the decision they work. We look for make sure say the systems and processes then they work. We look for make sure say every money we government institution they use is being done taking the issue of value for money into consideration. That means to say you not just to go waste money, you do use money judiciously and for something we get value. And the methodology, the approach, what we use for the work, and 3 approaches that we get. We get what we call the financial audit, where we look at the financial statements of their institution, the way they produce financial statements for make sure say they follow accounting standards And USAI variation in day, we make a comment on them one day. Now that one day we get what we call an audit opinion on. Then we do what we call compliance audit, where it kind of unique to public sector. Compliance audit now the compliance of the institution with the laws them and regulations them in place. And of course you get what we call performance audit, where we make sure say we check how effectively, efficiently and economically public sector institution they don't use government money for them projects and the programs them and waiting they need for deliver for the people of Sierra Leone.
So with then methodology then the way you explain but so the 3 different stages the way so now they go through before the report sinking come out. For 2019 under review where we can look at how you go describe that report the way you don't pull. So taking into consideration the financial audits, compliance audits, and performance audits we wanna go through.
Okay, so if we now look at the report, it's divided into several parts. The first part now the financial audit part where we get an opinion. And we now notice say we get an unqualified opinion. That means to say what we see no significant enough for make we doubt within the financial statements. Yes, there are issues them way big, but they're not material enough because we get what we call the materiality levels. What they look at, we compare that day with the particular matter. If, for example, if you see this calculator here, the calculator na 100 Leone, the issue where you check them against na 1 million Leone, you will say it is not significant. It is not a material situation. So now that kind of way they would look, will end up forgetting an unqualified audit opinion. However, significant issues that we need for still remind the preparers of the financial statement for looking to, we get what we call emphasis of matter. That means to say they're big, but they're not big enough to affect the opinion, but they're big enough for me to bring them to the attention of the parties that are concerned for do something about it going forward. Then for the compliance audit, we will do now most of the ministry, department, and agency them. We check how they use the government money as against the law them. For example, how they use government money as against procurement law, how they use government money as against their union law them, where the government sets it up for operate, how they use the money then. Then the area of performance audit, we look at how a few programs them, how the money them we government give, how they use them properly for benefits.
Let we look at the financial. Let's start with the financial among the three categories we want to look at, because this now one we don't draw plenty attention. Take me through the amounts of discrepancies in una findings as expected we una meet na MDs them.
Most of the area where we talk about cash losses really now on the compliance side, not on the financial statement side. If you look at financial statement, it divided into revenue and expenditure. If you now look, I'm fine. Divided into revenue and expenditure. Two of the main area them we've been for do with the revenue them. Una see say in one situation, action is already been taken on it. In another situation, because we look at the law we govern that particular matter, we realize say there was an error in the law. We realize say a response was given by the institution where they manage that situation there, and we realize it is going to be sorted out. However, given we own professional judgment, we give recommendation, even on that one day. But because of the unclear situation around that particular matter day, there was no way we could say a matter we could affect the opinion. We go negatively affect the opinion. So on the financial statement side of things, in your own professional judgment, taking into fact that we bring some of the issue there as emphasis of matter because they're not significant enough. We have proof and evidence that they are going to be dealt with. That matter, the financial statement opinion was a
we go through the audit reports where you just go in a parliament. I see we cannot say government expenditure increased by 7% compared to 2018, this 2019. Now, there we start before we go to the ministries, departments, and agencies, them and serve the local councils, them where we see say so many money lost they were unable for accounts for. So let me just start overall for the government expenses where we see increase 7% increase there from 5,438 billion inside 2018. It go to 6,410. As Auditor General, you work na audit service salon and una all day. They work for ensure say transparency the pan government's money, especially so the one way they use them. Waiting firstly now your impression, but that expenditure of government we don't increase that much.
Well, if we not get any negative view about that, because at the end of the day, government get for spend money for achieving activities them. We own role now for make sure say their expenditure then the government undertake, they undertake them under the due process. Now we roll down the, but we need for bringing that information out. For you also look at the revenue. The revenue also increase.
Increase, yes.
You know, so it is a balance between the revenue and the expenditure side. But we all role as external auditors them. Now for make sure say the money, the revenue side, it can side correct and complete. The expenditure side, they use them correctly as per the law.
Well, the reason that to make a ask which when I think overall about the expenditure will raise to 7%, although the increase FD on revenue generation locally, but we can out to the ministry departments and agencies them also we see gonna get a lot of breakdown then at tables them for explain as to waiting been lost inside the year 2019. I just want to let you use this opportunity for the people them where they listen for explain waiting have been some of the explanations them way them being give to una workman them way gonna the ministry departments and agencies them for the losses them way we see there, because for example we see losses in respect of cash and stores irregularities identified in the course of our audits amounted to 177.5 billion for ministry departments and agency them under cash losses. For example, now waiting have been the reasons them we make we get such loss as from the explanation them we wanna been get.
Okay, so that totally we did at the report, and not to just ministry department and agencies. You know. Now ministry department and agencies, public enterprises, local councils. Now the total will we find out based on the work. So now a mixture of procurement matters. Now a mixture of taxes the way they may supposed for pay over to government, we they not pay over to government. and a mixture of NACIDs waiting for pay over to government, waiting no pay over to government. Now a mixture of payroll matters, for example, people away, they pay, then salary them, we will not able for trace, records say they exist, you know. Now issue of money they way then give people for interest for run the institution there, or for example for travel, way they no retire. Make I explain something waiting this cash loss mean, because I think we need to be clear on waiting that one they mean. In the Leone auditing check terminology, it means to say you may suppose for use this money for do a certain transaction. You use the money for do the transaction, but you not do the transaction properly, and because of that you cause loss to the government. For example, you may suppose for travel and you retire interest of 2 million leons. You not retire that money, so we don't know what you do with the money. So in your own professional judgment, you cause loss to the government. You be supposed for carry out procurement using a competitive situation, but you go use sole source situation, and because of that, you go get a higher price for the thing rather than a reduced price. So you cause losses to the government.
So how much loss will you talk about when it comes to cash in the 2019 audit report?
Okay. It didn't at the report.
Yeah, but listeners now know they see the report.
Well, you go fine for, because I really want for me people and read, even if not the executive summary themselves. Because when you read and you self, then you're properly guided on that, waiting only. But as you self don't mention the amount, 170 plus billion loans over the last period. Now we never forget evidence, because again we work with evidence. We never forget evidence for substantiate waiting they use the money then for.
For example, other section again where they talk about overseas travel for medical, for example, over 1 billion. Again, the way people not able to account for. Some of them things are not so like the first time this audits in, audits out. We don't defend not say. Still, people not able to get like documents for proof, say who have been there at hospital A, this I mean medical who have been bring camp for the money we are take from government's coffers. Like una don't they do this year in year out. Waiting at the problem like we dey consistently every year, people not able to prove documents and provide them for justify for money them where they don't use.
Well, I want to say now a small bad habit we Sierra Leoneans can get for jump the law them and flout the rules them. Where until we get to that point, say we do things as we for do things then, we go continue for see then can issue situation there. Mind you, the institutions then still there, the institutions then still exist, the system then still there. So no so like saying a new system them where they the money they way they get for spend, they get for spend the money them. The laws then they way they get for spend them by not so new laws them. So until we get to that point, say we people follow how them for do things there, we go continue for the student things there.
You don't say they encourage people and for read the reports. I just want to explain few things where maybe the one except for the read the reports they could get challenged for understand some of them in them day. We like una put in terms them when like una own professional terms them. For example, under general purpose on financial statements, revenue not banked for una gets over 25 billion day under assessment again of GST revenue again over 22 billion. Waiting, for example, revenue not banked for. Waiting, you mean?
Okay, so Mabel go pay. Is supposed for go pay 100 loans to NRE, right? We look receipt. We see receipt for 100 loans. As auditors, there we not just take the receipt as it is. We trace them to the bank statement, because now the money supposed for go. And when we trace them, we not see them. So that to say receipt today, but somehow we don't know side the money go. So now that's an example of revenue not banked for. Under valuation of the GST, as you say, GST get the rate we supposed for pay. We do test them for make sure say this amount of this particular transaction, now this kind GST now for attract. We see say it attract less now under valuation that one did. So now some of the explanation we people need for know about.
Now let me take you to a specific area when it comes to the exploitation of timber, according to the Auditor General's report, difference of $5.48 billion. Now, in the difference are supposed to within 4 days at the account, but according to the report, the Ministry of Finance give explanation as an error. Within this error and how common it is across una work them we now the area of cash loss.
The issue of the timber not the part of cash loss. It is not part of cash loss. For the records, the cash loss now 177 billion leons. If you calculate that amount there, it's way past. If you convert that to leons, it's way past that amount. So you know they as part of cash loss for the records. That issue they come up in the report because, as I explained to you, we do the financial statements audit. It's part of the revenue side, and we check within the law say how the calculation suppose for the based on the law at the time, and we realize say based on the calculation way for the now this time difference now we notice so. But we not just to take things verbatim, you get to ask question. And on asking question, the response what we get is that is a mistake. And because we look earlier, asked them on this same timber, and we realize that yes, somehow there was a mistake in that, and it's going to be corrected. But one thing I want to make we all understand. Do you think professionally, when you look at things professionally, that issue where they talk about 1 square meter or square meter almost $1,000, it does not make sense. So of course, since it not make sense, we cannot take that as a loss. No, they have given a plausible explanation that this was a mistake. We said, "Oh, look into it." I say, indeed, because it doesn't make sense. We reviewed other countries, their own timber things them, and we realize yes, this is genuine mistake which needs to be corrected. However, we also make a recommendation, say, for the good of Sierra Leone, for revenue generation purposes, them, instead of you value a container of timber on block, why don't you look at the situation when by the category of timber them, then get different value them? Because for example, ebony go get a different value from mango teak. But if all inside the one container and you value the container one, then it's something to think about. So we made that suggestion in a recommendation going forward. We don't know if they will take that, but it's a recommendation which we hope will be looked into.
So why is it the audit service they include past year's report into, for instance, including 2015-18 into 2019 report?
Exactly. I'm glad you asked me that question. As far as we are concerned with the audit institutions, so if this institution here, especially the state-owned enterprises, them parastatal them, where the financial statement them, not they come on time. Some say now we receive 2018 financial statement for some of them parastatal there. We now want for tell we say we not for audit them at all. No, we work on a continuous process. And if you be say the continuity of which we do, mean to say we get for bringing 10 things a day in up to the current year, that is what we have to do. It is not unique to Sierra Leone. We not the audit as per with subjective views. We the audit as per international standards of auditing. So we get for bring everything on board as and when then they come on board.
Apart from ministry, departments, and agencies, then one other side people not only too focused on from the public eye, get to do with them public enterprise and commissions them, and from the reports we on a pool, then save a lot of money they way they not be able to account. So if we take for example, fuel we don't able to account for over 193 billion, we get payroll irregularities, payment without supporting documents, and other one them we also amount over 59 billion we like lost. Now side in this way people not only focus to all the year. So for example, that fuel we don't able to account for. Now waiting have been the problem.
Well, all things then at the report, because if we want to go begin individually with the pick, this way we not go down at today. If you entitled to 50 liters fuel, and somebody give 100 liter fuel, it's not correct because you're not entitled to that balance 50 liter day. You never explain to we wait to make you get an additional 50 liter fuel. So you can't account for that one day. Now then example in the if the policy na the institution or the law na the institution say na so you for go, the moment where you deviate from them and we get for recorded and as you not comply and it cause a loss. So now that happen in the fear situation in the most of them. Or for example, the cheat when I forget we not clear on what it all about. Or then give people that we're not entitled to the fear. So now all of them kind of things then they will be looking to.
Where the people now audit service can go out now, other than can be the target people for interview as to getting information we wanna need for the reports.
Okay, so the initial engagement letter, what would you do with the institution? Now with the permanent secretary, because now they the vote controller them, in the MDs them, in the parastatal them, now with the managing director or director general, whoever it is with in charge. Now they would get the engagement. So now they are the key targets, the key. Because now then they manage the money them. Now then they giving now the staff them when are the focal person. And based on how the systems they will get for go talk to whoever they in charge of procurement, who they in charge of accounts, who they are the internal auditor, we get conversation with all them people in there for get an understanding of waiting they go on.
So the reason why I ask now because I want to know if I really think say the vote controller them when the permanent secretary them, for example, they take on a work serious, because reading through the reports last night, I cannot say under the Ministry of Transport, for example, motoka them where they not be able for gear accounts for outside them motoka them they day. I see the response of the permanent secretary being be for say he call the person we been there in charge in 2018 and phone they off. So giving them kind of excuse and they for a whole serious issue of this, people not able to forget accounts for things them when they use government money for or government property. When I think say them vote controller really they take the work of audit service serious.
Well, I know for generalize the whole situation.
That's not just an example.
I understand. You get a lot where they take and serious, but you get other one then we really not they take audit serious. The only thing we people and they take audit serious now where the reports come out and issues them with very significant daily and everybody's for start. Even forget the meeting with the vote controller and the team. They go begin ask for postponement or another or I go take the thing as serious as you can. If you are not there, you know this process has to happen. Put somebody who go deputize you whilst you not did it. You see, any ultimate responsibility now the vote controller and aid in a day. Now so the law say.
Looking at the 2019 we come na the NACOVAC audit we una do na NACOVAC, and according to reports show things them we happen na NACOVAC like missing laptops, generators and vehicles. Take me through some of the findings then NACOVAC from the 2019 audit reports.
Okay, I think that one didn't catch the public eye. Now let me say fine for it. Because the areas them not to just then through they include human resource issues them wherein we situation and they we advice been don't be given, for example, for say you know for pay people allowance we unreasonable. However, there were situations where people get over almost 400% allowance more than the normal salary. Then at the report, we get a situation wherein before you even start for do the business, you forget a strategic direction. We notice say it take almost over 100 days before we even get a draft strategic document when they use. We compare that with other countries, they will see use much less days. Meanwhile, people have been paid monies, billions of leones for work we take so long for be done. We get situation wherein a lot of procurement was being done using third-party agency. We highly inflate the cost them under an emergency where you expect say instead of I want buy to you, but instead of I go to you direct, I make maybe I'll go buy to you first, then maybe I can charge me times 2 the price. So all of them kind of things in the happen. We on weighing we able to verify some of the assets them like that generator. That was very interesting in this particular one day. The issue of the laptops them where we get evidence for sure say we asked for this amount of laptops, this specification of laptops. It was signed for to be received, but where we go for go check, we not see that their laptop in the at all. You know, we get this generator, which was a very interesting one again. somebody give for help the effect. Until we say the generator they under, we go look there, we not see them at all. You know, we get situation wherein you pay for internet for this amount of data away for the get, but you get almost half of that, and you still pay for the huge amount of data where you're supposed for the get. So these are things then we happen. We get, of course, the tax situation where they either they know we told the tax them, or even the contracts that we then sign or get provision and therefore we told the tax them. So these were serious situations that happened.
Looking at NACOVAC, one thing somebody go say now that most of the thing them way NACOVAC call for now through institutions them and then get fiduciary agents them within they work with. How inclusive wanna include them in these findings now NACOVAC?
So the fiduciary agency then start, I think, June or so, end of June. If you look at the period of the audit, it was all before the fiduciary agents then begin for do thorough job na the NACOVAC.
Earlier you mentioned about buying from third party and how costly it is. We see NACOVAC engaged in the procurement, or the body that we responsible engage in procurement for NACOVAC. We get for do with motorbike, SUVs. We, of course, this issue being out plenty debate. Which area wanna find out say this third party buying they actually?
Well, all thing as I say, all thing in the report. Now make it fine for it. The SUV buying, the motorbike buying, they all get third party. And we'll take for example we'll take the motorbike them. I think the main supplier this on Sinatong, the third party go buy and from the nothing now wrong for that kind of situation. However, if we look at that when you look for, why make you not go direct to the one where the supply the thing and get them at in your price, rather you use a third party we not only inflate the price of the things them, and not even get them as quickly as you expect them for it. And really, what do you look at value for money as auditors them? We need for bring that to the attention of the taxpayers them, and all the other one that we support, give money for support effect. So now that's not the issue around that.
We see people already don't begin to respond to the concerns them where they inside the reports where office full. Firstly, let we start for now. Where wanna say vehicle and laptop they missing a NACOVAC. Waiting exactly the reports mean by that.
Okay, if Mabel sign for 2 book them, we pay for the 2 book them. We go look for them 2 book them, they will not see them. What's happening to the 2 book them? They exist or they not exist? Now that's not missing. If the motorcar them in question, we pay for them. We go, we look for them, we not see them. It's missing. But one thing I need for make we all remember, they work there, not so we not do inside 2 days. We did give the institution them beaucoup time for make them give you answer. In fact, the law right now, the law just say 15 days. But in some of their situations, I would even give them more time for me to answer. And when they don't answer, then they send, we the go verify the answer them. And in this particular case here, we spent over 1 month to verify.
Why so long?
Because during the verification, they send cartoon, big cartoon full of more documents where they not been on GUI during the time of the audit. And this is not a special audit, not so the normal annual audit, so you expect the document for don't in place in any case because now the previous year with the audit. So institutions are given sufficient time to give feedback on how they have used public funds. So if it is taking them so long, that means to say even the process where they're supposed to follow, where if I go buy this thing here, they forgive me these documents, I forget record of them, in not the day. And as auditors them, now we responsibility for give an independent view on the whole system and bring it to the attention of we the taxpayers them, so corrective action could be taken.
Now you get from Dr. Julius Spencer Day, say NACOVAC ready now for take all the laptop computers, the motorcar, and all waiting then say missing and NACOVAC go anobaram to the Anti-Corruption Commission for investigation. At this moment, somebody go like for us, what have been the cooperation of NACOVAC with the audit service alone, in as much as that NACOVAC say they're available, then the audit report say they're missing?
Okay, so I go want to throw the question back to you and say, whoever they say that, may they ask themselves, which may they no one cooperate with the Auditor General in office. Because it clear say, there is some kind of disrespect for the office. Because if we go under the law, we own mandate, it not just come out from any act, it come out from the Constitution, where na the highest law na the land. Where apart from my colleague in other continent, they highly respect the office. Now the same work we all do. It should say we get a serious apathy for accountability. Now so me go say. Otherwise, where we go there, una go make it in available for we. And una not go wait till the institution where they get tick. Because ACC get tick for go court and this and that, for beat you. Now they want to need educate it. So it should say you don't even understand what you need about.
Lack of cooperation at the case with NACOVAC?
Mr.
Lamina.
Mr. Lamina. I tell you, say, if you go do the verification, then send we one cartoon document where we dare not give you the tell to do the work.
So now if you say that be intimidation, say then go feel so and not go through the whole cartoon.
Auditors are not intimidated. That is just that's the name of the game.
Let me move from NACOVAC. I want to take it to the Ministry of Finance, because overall any money where they go to any ministry, department or agency, they go to come from the Ministry of Finance, because through them government say disburse money to different agencies them. The Ministry of Finance, for example, then serve they inside this particular report to be come out. We they see side and way on the talk of, for example, on top of allowance over 3 billion loans, then get increase on salaries of certain staff they more than able to explain for. Then get 50 staff they again want to notice say then at the ministry within the pay on unable for see appointments letter or that send them for justify them payments and other amounts of money them from the Ministry of Finance. Now waiting be the bottleneck na the Ministry of Finance, where like na then the number one ministry with the disburse, then self in-house get the issues them with so much money not able to be accounted for the.
I think to say really the best people for ask that question in the Ministry of Finance.
Now waiting then tell una be the ask.
The answer in the book.
I will let you tell listeners.
You want me to go through this report, find that page there and read that?
Because the reason why I ask, for example, in 50 staff them, where they na the ministry, where then they pay over 2 billion loans total of. On our talk say, then they pay them people here without evidence of appointment letters and transfer letters for confirm them as eligible staff them. Now
well, the HR policy, general HR policy, anybody when any institution, there are certain documentation way for sure say you are employed in this institution. If then documents are not there, we not see them. What does that mean? It means to say something went wrong along the line. If you the people the allowances that were not recorded in the sense that we not get the approval, the authority waiting at the basis for this allowance, we not see them, we get for comments on that one day. Because now public funds, we need for nobody know the say una no get allowance system. What we are saying, the process of doing it is not clear. So you need to explain to we waiting need to go on.
No. Then pull back again 1.6 billion loans from the consolidated fund accounts na Bank of Salon, where according to waiting the audit report say na been forbearing business for senior government workman them.
That's not a new thing. In fact, a policy is now being done when based on previous similar situation that we've been happy we don't bring to the attention in the previous audit reports them. We make a policy now is being documented for making that happen. The thing is, before you spend 1 cent of taxpayer money, public funds, we need for members, say the money there, now public funds, now taxpayer money, before you spend 1 cent for them, you need to get a policy, you need to get an approval, you need to get a reason for spender.
So people been just on the spend and not
In
go
their
back
situation, there is no policy at the time the money was being spent that yes, Weber income now 200 Leone will forgive, now 50 Leone will forgive, in a day.
Looking at over 177 billion leones loss as cash losses in 2019. If you look back at other years, them the money drop or we still they continue as a country they lost money where people where they put in a trusted position them not able to account for.
Well, this year a little higher than last year, but again, if you look at the exchange rate, if you do based on the exchange rate that time they and now, you go see say the difference not that much if you convert them dollar wise. But until we get to the point wherein there is consequences for action, really, we go continue for sitting in there.
But una don't they make recommendation?
Yes.
Action not don't be taken
Yes.
at all.
But we get for continue for the do we work because now that's now we work. For go out every year, we see our government spend the money where the taxpayer them entrust to them for spend and report back to the taxpayer then through parliament for say now so they spending money or not so they spending money for the good of we all na salon.
Now, when you look at the audit report, what are the relationship between UNA and the public in terms of public education? Because most times when they report here, they come on, it's all like in a competition now, UNA don't thief passing competition, and they say this and don't thief pass we, this and been thief pass we. How do they engage the public for depoliticize the audit reports?
So, actually, this last couple of years, now I see a really worsening in that particular area there. And it clear say people are not listening and people are not read. Because year in, year out, we get to information on staff them, we go on the air, we get engagement with the civil society them, we explain how we do we work. But if at the time we then say the people are not interested, they're not listening, that make them go to ask some of them kind of question there. So what are the appeal to all my way they listen? Whenever they hear about audit service they on the air or they get a program, show interest. That's in there you go understand what we do, what we do all about. We are neutral and we work. We are very objective. There is no way you can be an external auditor without being objective. And that makes so we work not so based on what we think, but within the almost 100 auditing standards, thousands of auditing standards of supreme audit institutions, that guidance, now we use for do we work.
We want quickly can talk about recommendations them way una they continue for making one step una gonna make inside the 2019 reports. But quickly before we jump to that, the BO administration where President BO in speech one thing where they indicate always where they talk na parliament now that in government really want for block leakages them where it believes say been then a past administration who say government money them be the go people not be done the accounts for them. In 2019 we don't see over 177 billion don't go down the drain people never accounts for them yet. This blocking leakages and this kind of money where we see loss for 2019 alone, we really think say leakage you don't block from accountability parts where you look at on a responsibility under accountability and transparency where people for the use government money.
Well, what I go say, first of all, me very supportive of the president in the issue of blocking leakages, because until we get to that point, we're able for block some of the leakage there. Certain things that we will need for do with the little money where we get, we're not able for do them. At the same time, the people that where they man the MDA them, they need for do things properly. Otherwise, the leakage then go continue for do. You see, not so for now the people that where they manage the system now they're the problem they. Now then get for do the correct thing for support waiting HE want for happen for salon.
So waiting difference from the other recommendation them we wanna they prefer this time around for ensure then leakage and the block and search money them not just they go now 1 or 2 man party or group pockets.
The recommendation then because if not the same issue then a similar recommendation they would the key. However, me on take on all of this, what to make year in, year out, year in, year out, we get thing there. Now because accountability, the one way for all accountable, the need for make sure say people and do right. That make sure I'm glad where the ACC the take we report now look and really the old people are accountable. So that is a step in the right direction for make sure say at least for a start somebody they ready make sure say una get for payback if una get for payback money them waiting make una know the key document to the auditor where then go so that some of them sure they know go the day na the report. Something has to be done about it.
So apart from the ACC, the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, don't they support on our work over the years as to ensuring the recommendations them where they inside the audit report because they force on a report can go. Or don't they see any action they come from the committee in a Parliament?
Well, actually, I'm not there in the place for talk anything about the Parliament. Where the year done, we give a report to Parliament. Where PAC get hearings, we are invited there. We give technical support. Now that way we don't do work. So over the years,
looking at the trends, you think say in the coming years, improvements go day when it comes to the area of finance compliance and performance in the auditing?
I always say, if the willpower day for change, it will happen. There is nothing that's impossible.
Who say you expect the willpower for come up from?
The willpower for come up from the individuals them, where they manage the institutions them as a start, and secondly, the accountability institutions there, where they make sure say them for do the right thing. You know, even if you mean to say action plans for be drawn up, how we manage the situation. If you mean to say corrective action, like for example repayment of monies that we never account for, those kind of things will make sure send a message that this is not accepted and should not continue.
Looking at all waiting on the happen at the country and you know the person where they on top of the audit service salon for ensuring a full report but how the country economy they go for the year, how government they generate revenue and stuff, how the expenditure look like. You don't they as we been start earlier, you don't they in that particular position there for a very long time, and looking at all the different reports and maybe don't they come out. Changes don't they, or you disappointed say people in a trusted position still we're not able to manage the country money as expected?
Okay, so the issue of disappointed, me now one post away, I don't bring personality into my job. So not to my own business for be disappointed or happy or or sad. You know, professionally there are areas that there have been improvements. However, professionally there are areas that are perennial areas, especially that procurement day. Because now they boku money to go inside. There are areas where people and they decide say, today I just to do what I for do. Now I go employ somebody, I not get documents, I pay from the payroll and nobody enough ask me no question. You know, there are areas wherein we get our money, you know the go side supposed to go, we know they get evidence for say the go side supposed to go. So until they want the way they blunder, because now blunder, action is being taken against them, we go continue like this. It not get nothing for do with the audit methodology because as I say we use international standards of supreme audit institutions, not so subjective so until we use.
This action where they ask for be taken year in year out, much changes not the same issues of procurement where people not they go through rightly, people not to get documents for support decisions that within they take. Waiting at this action we need for be taken for let we see changes and the way how people use the country money.
Probably payback. Would have found one thing, pay back the money them, or I'm not going to advise any other thing. I think the individual they really for payback money them. Because if not for the training, if for the understanding, I believe say the one way they man the MDA, they really don't get enough training and understanding of waiting they're supposed for the do.
So what you left now as a takeaway for listeners them, especially people themselves. We cannot say people waiting at some of them position here go they listen you as the Auditor General, what you left to them as advice moving forward, because we know say this already in a parliament, so they wait for your waiting parliament will get for say and say the Anti-Corruption Commission self say then say they do their own investigations then. While we they wait for them one and they waiting at the word of advice we they left with some people here.
So my own word of advice is that first of all when we go in for do the work, may them cooperate with the organization. When we make recommendation them, make them try for implement the recommendation then we go see a great improvement in PFM, public financial management, na salon. Public sector auditing, unique, na so they happen all side. However, where action is being taken, then we see positive changes in our country, the economy. Until we get to that point, we go to struggle as a country.
So quick clarification before we go. Somebody they say this now 2019 report, but you get 2020 NACOVAC report inside the quick one.
Yes. First of all, again, if people and they listen to we can go na radio, you go know say we get what we call special audit them, or we get annual audit. The NACOVAC na a special audit. It's different, not an annual audit. Okay. So it happened between a period of time when now we talk about.
Okay, thank you very much, Lara Taylor-Pearce.
One for say thanks to Radio Democracy and for the engagement we then get with the Auditor General, Lara Taylor-Pearce.